Welcome back to the second half of the show for Out in the Field. Today we're joined with two guests, Shuvo, a doctor, and Kausa, a medical student. Thank you for coming onto the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to ask, what first made you want to become a doctor, Shuvo?
Right, so I think there's a few things that made me want to become a doctor. Initially it was the study of science. I enjoyed the aspect of school. And then I wanted to have a job where I'd actually make a difference in people's lives and have a job satisfaction. So I did a bit of work experience in the medical field, working in hospitals and GP practices and also hospices. And I shadowed a lot of doctors, and that's where I actually decided I want to pursue a career in medicine.
What about that work experience was rewarding to you?
I think it's just making a difference in people's lives day to day, seeing people come into hospital. It could be very small things to very big things that you do that makes a huge difference in their lives. Yeah. And the satisfaction that you get when you go back home, I think is second to none compared to any other profession, in my opinion.
That makes sense. How about you, Kausa? What made you want to become a doctor?
So for me, it was my experience with family members in hospital and the way doctors and nurses handled their case and treated them, and that made me want to get work experience in the medical field because I've always been interested in science and how things work, so it made sense to, and I've always wanted to work with people and make a difference in their life, so I guess the work experience helped me find out more about that, and it essentially pushed me into that field because I enjoyed making a difference to their lives.
So both of you have done work experience. Would you say that that's really a key part of becoming a doctor?
Yeah, I think it's very important. You can go to school and get your grades, and I'm sure you probably know you need to get one of the best grades in your cohort. But I think you need to also stand out. So work experience is important for your application. But even more important is understanding the job itself and see if it's for you. Because if you want to pursue a career in medicine, you need to be very committed and very determined. So I think it's very important to have that experience shadowing doctors and healthcare professions to see if it is for you. Yeah.
Hear that, viewers? Make sure you get your work experience if you want to pursue medicine.
So obviously being a doctor is a really stressful job. What would you say is the biggest challenge in your profession?
Like all other professions, there are huge challenges. I would say one of the main things about being a doctor, which is a challenge, is probably not being able to do a bit more to help people's lives, and knowing that you have nothing else in your power to make the person better, for example, and knowing where that time is to call it a day, and communicating that information to the patient and the family. I personally find that bit very difficult and very challenging about my profession.
So we always hear about how tough medical school is. What would you say was the hardest part of your course?
I guess the hardest part would be managing your time, so having time to do things you enjoy and extracurricular and taking a break, and also having enough time to study and be able to go over all the material. So I think having time management and organisation skills is really important, and it really helps you if you want a good work-life balance, both in uni and after you graduate.
Well, as a doctor, how much personal time do you actually have to do anything you want, really?
I think that's one of the questions I guess asked a lot, because we do work hard, like most other professions as well. But I think being a doctor, your time can be limited, because when it comes 5 o'clock, you can't just log off and go to work like other jobs. You need to continue making sure everyone's fine, all the patients are fine. And the main thing is most likely the on-calls, where you have to do your night shifts and on-call shifts, which can be long. But I think you can get a lot of things done. I personally get a lot of things done as well in my spare time. It's just being organised and making sure you have balanced life as well, to have a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And especially when you're working as well, to prioritise everything you do, and then you can get everything done.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Kausa, could you give us a bit more insight into the actual process of getting into medical school, other than getting the grades, of course?
So apart from getting the grades, and work experience is one of the most key things, so on your personal statement that you'll write, it's the main bit that you'll talk about, and what's important for that is reflecting on what you learned and relating that to why you want to become a doctor. So hospital work experience is obviously key, but community work experience is still important as well. So charities or volunteering or pharmacists, they're all really important because transferable skills such as communication, interpersonal skills, they're all really important for a doctor. So that's the main challenge. That's the main bit that'll make up your personal statement. Also, apart from that, you have a few entrance exams. Certain universities will require different entrance exams, whereas others might not require some. So it really varies. So you have to do your research as well regarding that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So how about you? How was the examination process for getting into med school for you?
Yeah, so I think when I did apply, we had entrance exams, which can be tough as well. But like Kaso said, you need to make sure you get your top grades. That's important to get in. I think nearly every single university in the UK want an interview as well.
Yeah.
So the interview process can be challenging and difficult. But I think what the main thing is to make sure you stand out from the rest. So you can do your academic stuff, getting your grades, but it's important to do extracurricular stuff as well. So if you enjoy sports, if you have a hobby, make sure you pursue that to the highest level you can.
What did you do? What sports or anything?
So I played cricket, so I played with a local cricket team, and also I did a bit of journalism as well. So I applied to a few I wrote a few articles in some magazines, local magazines. So stuff like that really will make you stand out. And like Casa said, charity work as well.
Yeah.
The universities want to see that you're not just an academic person, you'll be an asset to the university as well and the environment and the community.
How about you, Kausa? How did you stand out on your personal statement?
So I mostly did personal through work experience and going to different things and learning more about them, but also for my extracurricular things, I did martial arts, for example, which also showed that you can wind down. So as a doctor, it's very stressful, so you need to show them that you have a way of relaxing and taking some time out, because that's really helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly work experience and through my extracurricular and volunteering and charity work.
So what kind of characteristics do you think someone would need to become a doctor? So obviously being like smart is one of them, so what else would you need?
I think because it's such a challenging career that I found in the last 2 years of working, I think you need to be really determined and you need to be committed as well.
Yeah.
So for viewers, obviously if you want to pursue this career, that's why I say work experience is very important. So you can see if you're that person, you have that personality to go forward. Because like I said earlier, there is going to be times where you can't just leave on time. You might have to stay half an hour, even longer. So you need to be very committed, in my opinion. And as a person, you need to be organized as well. Organization is very important. And it is a fun career to have as well, so you will enjoy yourself as long as your heart is set on it and you enjoy what you do.
Yeah. Okay, well, anything that you want to say to the viewers to summarize, if they want to become a doctor, what they should do?
So I guess main thing would be to research through work experience and find out if it's something you enjoy. If you enjoy lifelong learning, then it's a really good career, and it's also very rewarding seeing how your work actually impacts patients and makes a positive difference to their life. And also in terms of grades, you can find out what each individual uni needs in their websites. So that's.
How about you, Shiva?
I think on top of that as well, I think it's a rewarding career. I mean, I know you haven't started working class, or you'll hopefully be soon. I've worked for nearly a year and a half now, and there are times where it's challenging, but overall I think it is a very rewarding job. There are days when you would go home and you'd be shattered and you'd be very stressed, but the other times when you do go home, you'd feel that relief and that self-satisfaction that you made a difference in someone's life.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I haven't experienced anything like that before. So
Right.
I think for that reason, it is a good thing to do.
All right, yeah, well, thank you very much. That was really helpful. And thanks for coming onto the show.
Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And make sure you guys tune in for the next episode of Culture Me if you can. And we'll see you soon.